Fiona McIntosh of Essential Osteopathy. I'm going to talk today a little bit about workstation setup. It's a really important factor. A lot of the time people come to me with back pain or neck pain or other bodily pain because of the way they are sitting at a desk. Well, they're sitting at a desk for 8 hours up to more than a day, and it's really adding to their problems. So let's just have a little look at all the things that are worth assessing when you are setting up your workstation, whether it be at home or in the office. So just a couple of points. Right, let's look at the chair. So firstly, the chair, ideally, what you need to do is be looking at the knees being slightly lower or the same height as the hips. So really what you want ideally is a kind of 90-degree angle, so or 100 to 110. So basically where the hip is slightly higher than the knee, but if it's about the same, that's fine. The second point is, what you want to do is have your back supported by the chair. This chair is not the most ideal chair because it's the one I have available, but in an ideal world I'd have a back support or back part of the chair that would actually support the sort of level that you would, where you would wear a belt on your trousers. So in this case it would be about here, so it would just provide a little bit of support to support the lordosis, which is the curve of the lower back. So there would be that to look at. Also, ideally you can tilt the chair and swivel it, so it means that if you're doing, say for example, you have a curved desk, you can easily change position without doing the twisting. Because what we're trying to avoid is repetitive movements in one direction. So say you always answer the phone to the right hand side, you always write notes on the right hand side. What you want to do is ideally have everything straight in front of you. The job that you do the most of, you need to have straight in front of you. So even if you've got a split screen, really you kind of want the split in the middle, and so you can quite easily move from one to the other. And if you need to have a decent chair so that you can swivel easily. The other thing to consider is a footrest, to make sure that, I mean I'm quite tall, but if you're shorter, it makes sure that you don't have your feet dangling, okay? The other thing is try not to have it where you've got your feet tucked under or your feet doing odd things, because again, every time we sort of cross our legs or have any sort of strange arrangement of our legs, it will set up these kind of postural problems up the back. So have that to consider as well. Right, so the other thing to think about is when you've got your chair towards the desk, what you want to do is have a nice right angle at the elbow, and you basically want the keyboard set up so that you can put your fingers on the keyboard and your wrists are rested on the table, or ideally you get one of the wrist supports so that you can keep a straight line, so your forearm goes straight onto your hand, it goes straight to your hand as it were. You're not doing that kind of movement, and equally you're not like this, because that starts to cause tendon problems, the kind of tennis elbow or RSI problems, that kind of thing. So have a think about that. So you want a nice 90-degree angle, and you don't want to be overreaching to get to the keyboard, so think about that as well. Similarly with the mouse, in this case I've got the mouse pad and you've got your mouse. Again, everything needs to be within that angle, so you shouldn't be constantly reaching out like this. So have everything close to you, and you can see we're sitting up straight here. Going back to the sitting up thing, if you've got a rather inappropriate chair like mine, what you can do is use a towel, okay? This is a kind of slightly cheaty way of sorting out the whole postural thing when you're sitting. I'm just going to quickly get a towel. So what you want to do is roll the towel up, pop it into the back of the chair, and then what you want to do is sit right on it. Do you see what I mean? So sit on it, and then you'll see what I mean as you do it, but you kind of let your pelvis roll forward. You can probably see there. So that's me sitting straight, and then that's with my pelvis roll forward. And actually, you can honestly sit like this for ages. It's actually quite difficult then to slouch, which is sometimes the problem there. So you can sit like that for ages. If I just stand up, you may be able to see that there's almost like a sort of wedge shape like that formed by the towel. So have a think about that, because that's a really easy way to get your posture set up correctly. So we've had a look at that. So now, what is worth buying? In my case, I bought the station. This stand. This is if you have a laptop you're working on, and then I bought a separate keyboard, and I bought the stand, and I think the whole thing was about £40. Online retailers, you know what I mean. So have a look at making sure that when you work on a laptop, especially if it's a lot of time you're spending on the work at your workstation, that you definitely either do this option or just get a bunch of books, put your laptop on it, and have a separate keyboard. They're really not expensive online. So what you're needing to do is have the top of the monitor or the taskbar at the top of the screen, you want it at eyebrow level. So imagine you're set up like this, and as I say, you've got the right angle, and you've got your wrists horizontal, parallel to the ground or to the desk. What the other thing that's worth doing is also making sure you get your eyes tested regularly, because again, without us really realising over the 2-year period before eye tests, before your next eye test, you might find your eyesight starting to become worse, and you end up kind of doing that towards the screen. So again, just make sure if you feel that your eyes are starting to, the prescription, you need a new prescription, just make sure you get that assessed as soon as possible. So that's most of the things covered. I have another note on my sheet that you're looking at a visual angle of about 0 to 30 degrees below horizontal. So if that's horizontal, it's kind of down to about here. So you want to be kind of looking ever so slightly down at the screen. And I think, oh yes, just to go back to the chair quickly, is the armrests. Now this is a bit of a problem with a lot of chairs, because ultimately it's a question of you can't put your chair right under the desk. But what you really want, it needs to be a decent enough chair that you can actually either push the armrest right out the way, or just take them off, because basically they actually end up getting in the way. For some people, they need to be right close like this, and sometimes you can't get the armrest under the desk, sorry. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of an idea of the basic points. I think the most important thing is to have this, if you have a laptop, have it up at a decent height so the top of the screen is at eyebrow level, okay? And make sure you have a decent chair. If you're going to invest in anything, invest in a good chair, and invest in perhaps in a laptop stand. So I hope that's of help. Bye-bye.